Hi everyone, my name is Trishna Pandey and I'm from Tripti Coaching. Today, as promised, we are going to be talking about public speaking repertoire. So, how is this different from presentation skills and public speaking skills? So, often public speaking skills talk about body language, gestures, everything. This has been extensively addressed in my previous video, so we will not be revisiting that today. Today we're going to be focusing on what the repertoire is all about. So whatever we call as public speaking skills or the presentation skills, as we are coining the name just to differentiate for all our references, is also an essential part of the public speaking repertoire. The thing is, if I am not able to communicate my message properly, like if my body language is all over the place, my facial expressions are not in place, my clothing presentation is not in place, the material that I have, like a PowerPoint presentation, if that's what I'm planning to use, is not in place, what happens is, even if I have a lot of substance to give as a speaker, the whole message is going to get lost. So we want to be conscious of that. So presentation skills is definitely part of the repertoire, but that's not all of it. So today we're going to look at what repertoire actually means, and this is a combination of attitude, approach and practice that we put into place. Public speaking is deep, and that's something that we can discover as we go along. But these are a few things that we've discovered so far. You're more than welcome to add to the kitty. Okay. So let's jump right in. So when we're talking about the repertoire, like we established in the last video, the first thing that we're really talking about is a sense of giving. Now, giving is a very, very dicey word because we cannot give something that we do not have. What does this really mean? It means that we as people are contributing something to others all the time. And we are contributing something different at different times in different phases of our lives, right? And it's really important to identify that. What do I mean by this? What I mean by this is, say you're a person who will give insight. Anybody that you speak to, you contribute to them seeing something from a very different point of view, and that is something that you bring on table. You're a very optimistic person, you don't give up hope easily, and you find yourself reaching out to your colleagues and friends whenever they are in need and saying, hey, let's not give up yet, there is still ways to go about this, right? So what is it that you bring on the table as a human being and as a person is the first thing that one needs to look at as far as public speaking is concerned. So whatever you are in your day-to-day life, however you live, that's exactly how you're going to show up on stage as well. Please understand, as we've discussed earlier, the stage is a spotlight, right? So what happens on stage when we say it's a spotlight, it means that we are extremely visible. We cannot hide and everybody can see what we're up to. That's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is very interesting. The vulnerability that we feel in being exposed also has a flip side to it, which is a very interesting flip side to it, is that the audience reflects exactly how we show up on that stage, right? So think back to all your public speaking experiences and really look at it from an observer's point of view. And you'll realize that if you were nervous and you went in with a thought or a belief saying that the audience is gonna be so bored of you, and that caused you to be nervous, and you'll find that your audience was actually bored, they got distracted. Whereas if you went in there and you are like, I'm going to give them everything that I have, I'm going to connect, I'm going to make a difference, and that's exactly how your audience would have felt, right? So that's where the whole crux comes into the matter. So one is your presence. What is your presence actually communicating? And this happens beyond our conscious understanding or conscious control. So it is something that we live and something that we know, which brings me to the next point. We talk about what we know and what we understand and what expertise we have in that particular state. Of course, as human beings, it's not possible for us to know everything under the sun, but there is a scope. There is something that we have to offer in that space. That is why we were called on stage, right? Somebody thought that we are capable enough, we have expertise in something, and that is why we were called on stage to give that something to the audience. And apparently, the audience that shows up has that particular need. They are looking to listen to us, they are looking to know more about what we have to say. So, this is one reason why us feeling insecure as speakers and looking for validation from others does not really fly. So, if you show up on stage thinking that I'm not good enough and I'm going to go up there and I want to impress my audience to really understand what I'm saying, and I want their vote of confidence that what I said is the best thing for them, we've already lost it. Why? Because the fact that we were invited as speakers, the fact that we were given a platform, the fact that the audience saw the topic and is there to listen to us means that we have already been deemed worthy of that space. If we were not, we would have not got that stage in the first place, right? So we need to go beyond seeking public speaking as a space to build our confidence, but be confident already. How does one do that? One goes beyond confidence, builds comfort. How does one build comfort? In knowing that I'm capable enough, in knowing that I have prepared myself enough before I've landed up on stage. So I've thought about who the audience is, what are they there for, what are they looking to seek, and what is it that I have to give them, right? And I prepare myself a lot before I show up on stage, to an extent where whatever I have to communicate is internalized so deeply that I can do it when I'm woken up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Why do I need to do this? Because when we are on stage, there is one currency that we are in absolute control of, and that is our attention. And where should this attention be? It should absolutely be on the audience. So when our attention is on the audience, we start to communicate with them. They respond back. There is a conversation that really happens whether we are talking to each other or not. And that is the fundamental basic aspect of a public speaking having worked out. That's like the bare minimum. If that conversation does not happen, if the audience remains disconnected to the speaker who's on stage and talking, then we didn't even start the journey, forget about achieving. So that's where we want to place our attention. So everything else that requires our attention, we become very, very well prepared and we are automated about it. So we go beforehand, we figure out what the stage is, we figure out our clothes that are comfortable and are not distracting to us. We work out our speech, we have our materials ready, so that these are on the tips of our fingers and tongues and minds, so that we, if we need to switch our attention to these things, it's just for a split second, and people understand that we are well prepared and we are prepared to be there with them. Core aspect of public speaking. In that moment, we are not there to see if the audience is with us. They've come there to be with us. The crux of the matter is completely flipping the script and really seeing that if we can spend that time with them, being in an absolutely giving space, being unconditionally contributing, where the audience can receive completely. And if we can put that aspect together for our audiences, we have begun a public speaking journey in its truest form. Now the question is, we are saying, we need to show up, we need to give, we should not look for an audience feedback. Then how do we really measure impact? Right? We're going in front of the audience and talking. We want them to change in some way. We want them to get some information and perhaps alter their behavior in some way. If I'm going as a CEO of a company or a founder of a company, that's something that I should be able to do. right? How does that really work? And that's a really, really good and a very valid question if you have been thinking about it through all my videos, and that's something that we will address in my next video. Right? You must be wondering why this particular speech is not very practiced and it does have mistakes. I'm going to be deliberately leaving them in there because I want to sound natural. I want to sound as if I'm talking to you and you're listening to me and you have a response in you. So I assume you are there opposite to me, although I'm looking at the camera. So I'm going to continue to make videos which are not practiced and which are not picture perfect. I'm going to be myself with flaws, mistakes, limitations, capabilities, abilities and life experiences that I bring on the table, so that you can see that I have evolved my own way of being in the public speaking space, and if I can do it, so can you. Thank you so much for this opportunity and your time today. I'll connect with you on the next video.